Hello, my dear ones. Welcome back to Be the Change Now. I have just spent a chunk of time, like, what is the word? Gorging on this information from Bashar. And I will first and foremost link the specific teaching in this description. So please go take advantage of that. But the basic concept is what is the difference between negative beliefs and positive beliefs, and why are the negative beliefs intertwined with our nervous system uh, in a way that makes them extremely difficult to let go of. Okay. So if you're anything like me, you have been desperate for how to let go of negative beliefs and frustrated by how difficult it is to do so. Now, my hunch about a year and a half ago was that part of this experience, this whole thing about coming to Earth and being a person and doing all of the pain and the loss and the difficult relationships, that part of it was some sort of a like soul level testing system to test out, is unconditional love possible? Okay, so pretend you're like out in your soul self, higher self, okay? And you know everything, and you are all powerful, and you're all loving, and you're experiencing unconditional love. And you're like, well, is it really like, is there a way to actually like test this out and see if there were some conditions, if there were some limitations, would we still have the capacity to reach out unconditionally with love? Because if if you've never experienced conditions on a soul level, it's hard to say there's such a thing as unconditional love because you've never had conditions. So I wonder, this is my hunch, if part of what we come here to do is to create conditions so that we can say, look, there's love even when the conditions are really bad, right? So we test the love with conditions so that we can say there's unconditional love. If no conditions exist in the soul level, then we can't really call anything unconditional. Okay. So this is just a hunch. Obviously, take it or leave it. Take what you like, leave the rest, right? But I will tell you how this is applicable, even if you don't want to align with that hunch. Okay. How this is applicable is that most of us experience more challenge because of limiting beliefs. So we're aware that these things are making our life more difficult. The piece that most of us can't figure out is how to actually like release that hold that the negative belief has over us. So what I love about this is that, spoiler alert, it all comes back to love. So when we say letting go of limiting beliefs in this construct, what's actually happening in the full circle is that you are loving the limiting beliefs unconditionally, or the negative beliefs, as Bashar calls them. Okay, so in this higher perspective of wanting to pull up conditions so that we can prove that unconditional love is possible. Let me pull this up. Okay, can you see that? Okay, so we have these two. This is from Bashar. Okay, so in this experience, we have, can you see this? This over here. Okay. You have contraction versus expansion. Many of us have gotten to the point where we understand that we are contracted or limited. That's why we call them limiting beliefs by these negative beliefs. Okay. And a fascinating thing that this Bashar teaching offers is that this limiting belief or this negative belief has as a way to try to survive, because it is so scared that if you let go of it, it will die and not exist anymore. As a way to try and survive, it has come up with a very elaborate system, as you can see in this hexagonal, is that how you would say it? Hexagonal structure here. A very elaborate system to keep you locked in and securely attached to that negative belief in such a way that you come to believe that you will die if you let it go. Okay. So it uses its own greatest fear and hands that to you and says, we've got to hold on to each other for dear life or we're both going to die. Right. And it ropes in your nervous system. So when I had this hunch back a year and a half ago or so, I had this feeling, okay, I think this nervous system regulation stuff is really important. It somehow sets us up to be able to have a little bit more wherewithal so that when we come to look at these beliefs, we don't totally crumble and fall apart, right? We've got to sort of increase our capacity to endure the terrifying strategies of the negative belief if we're going to be able to let them go. And my other thought was that pairing this nervous system work with the self-inquiry of the work of Byron Katie, which is basically questioning or doubting your beliefs, that would be the like perfect double, not perfect, that would be an effective technique to shake some of these loose. And this is what the Bashar video gets to, is that the crack in this whole system that the negative belief has set up is doubt, because it knows that if you doubt it, if you say, it's telling you you are worthless, right? And if you go, am I though? It is so scared that if you look and if you doubt it, it will die, that it's going to use all of these strategies to keep you locked into it, including this, you're gonna die if you question this. It doesn't want you to doubt it. But interestingly, it has to leave doubt open, because one of its strategies is this paranoia one. And it wants you to say, is this true? Or like, maybe could this not be true? And then it tells you, don't go looking, because so long as you're not sure, you won't get it proven to you. And how much worse would it be to have it proven to you to know that you're worthless, or whatever your negative belief is. So don't go looking, because then if you find the proof of it, you would totally die. You can't handle the truth, right? From that movie. So it leaves this paranoia here to protect itself from the only chink in its armor, which is doubt, because it knows that if you start to doubt it, it loses its power. Okay, so let's go through the other strategies it uses to hook in and hold on. And then we'll go back into that doubt piece of what happens actually when you doubt it, and how both of you get to find out that you don't die, which is where the freedom and the expansion come in. Okay, so hang with me. I know this is a little abstract. So the negative belief, first of all, hardwires into your nervous system, so that your nervous system is so attached to that negative belief that it truly 100% believes that you will die if you let go of that belief. Okay, that's the nervous system level. So when we start to get to know our nervous system, and we start to get a little space, a little breath between our nervous system response and our negative belief, it naturally opens us up to doubt. So that's how the nervous system work can be so powerful, is because it supports us in opening up to doubt so that the paranoia can't take us over, because we've got some tools. We start to feel like, actually, I can see that my body is doing something apart from the belief, and I see that I know how to support my body even if the belief is not attached. So it lays to rest that paranoia. Okay, the nervous system work. The other strategies that the negative belief uses in this survival, there's no choices, right? Justification. Your reticular activating system, which is a part of your brain, its job is to look out into your environment and find evidence that supports your negative beliefs. So it is there to, your negative belief is there is a tiger who's going to come get me. Your reticular activating system is searching all of the time. This is also called the negativity bias, searching all the time to find evidence to the fact that, like, yep, I see some tracks. There was a tiger just here yesterday, or yep, my friend just disappeared and I bet it was a tiger, or I hear a growl, or I see a little patch of orange, it must have been a tiger, right? So the justifying, the rationalizing, everybody else has these beliefs. If you didn't have this belief, you would be, irresponsible or not a part of society, or people won't like you. The rejection, again, the people won't like you. The projection, oh, I have to believe this because look out there, these people are doing this to me. And then the reward one, to say, like, I'm going to keep you safe, right? I'm going to give you security if you believe this. I'm going to give you a job. I'm going to give you a partner. I'm going to give you a house, right? If you follow these rules, you'll get these security things, which ultimately, if we really want freedom, we don't want security. We don't want to be locked down into something, right? We want to be free. But these are the ways that the negative belief keeps us contracted and leaves us with no choice. Okay, so when we are doing the nervous system exercises, when we're learning about the nervous system, when we're building trust with our nervous system, we then diminish the power that the paranoia has over it, which the paranoia is just a shield to hide from us that there is a way out. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, as he says, through doubt. When we doubt the negative belief, there's a way out. Okay? So when we do the nervous system work, we take the paranoia out. We expose that doubt is the way through. Then we can effectively grab that Byron Katie work and click it in, and we can start to question that negative belief. And when we question that negative belief, not only do we get through that way out, which is doubt, because we're doubting the negative belief by questioning it, we get through there and out the other side. We find out by the end of the work, I didn't actually just stomp on this negative belief and kill it and banish it, because nothing can ever actually be destroyed or eliminated, right? What I've done is I gathered up this negative belief by questioning it, and have now found incredible treasures as a result. I have grown. I have seen choices. I am experiencing freedom because I realized this was a lie, right? There were so many choices. And I start to feel inspired because I think, well, if this belief isn't so solid, then maybe this one isn't, and maybe this one isn't. And I start to use my doubt to embrace all of it and realize that not only is the negative belief not dangerous and not going to threaten my survival, it's actually one of the most beautiful keys to my growth and my freedom, because it opens up for me something that was stuck and where there were no choice. It's an actual pathway through. The doubt is the pathway to freedom. And the other beautiful thing is then you start to really appreciate that negative belief for what it offered you. And when it feels appreciated and you reassure it and say, not only am I not going to crush or banish you, I'm going to welcome you. In the end of the Byron Katie work, the last two lines are, I look forward to, I'm willing to, and I look forward to doing ABC 3, limiting belief. So we welcome it and we appreciate it and we tell it, you don't have to die. And that negative belief relaxes into realizing that we're not going to kill it. And it lets you choose. Do you want me? If not, I know I'm not going to die, so I don't have to fight for my survival by using all these defense mechanisms, right? And I can just remain. And you can have the choice to pick the negative belief or pick the positive belief, knowing that either way, either one you choose, you will end up back at freedom and choice and growth and inspiration. That's the magic of this. And that's where the absolute innocence comes in, right? Because when we're absolutely innocent, we understand that this choice is not choice like the negative beliefs have told us, like there's a good choice and a bad choice. This choice is completely morally neutral. You can choose the negative belief or you can choose the positive belief. As Bashar says, the universe supports you so entirely that it supports you in choosing the negative belief. It knows that there's no possible way for you to make a wrong choice because the end result of all paths is freedom. And if you want to be reminded, how do we get to freedom from here? It's that the negative belief forces us into the paranoia. The paranoia leads to the doorway of doubt. The doubt leads to realizing that we can embrace the negative belief as supporting our growth and love it as a valid part of all that is, and choose it if we want it, and choose the positive if we want that. We can then have the choice for what we prefer. Prefer is not have to do with you're going to die or you're going to win or live. You're going to lose or you're going to win. You're going to go to hell or you're going to go to heaven. It's not that. It's just, what would you prefer? And if you prefer to have a little bit more time over here, then you can pop back over here. But I love one thing that he did say. Once you've seen this, once you've tasted this, it's very hard to not have an inkling next time you come across it. I think maybe this is not quite what it seems to be. You're always going to question it now, because once you've seen this possibility, once you know that the paranoia is only a, what do they call that? The curtain that's covering the Wizard of Oz. Once you peek behind that curtain, it's very hard to unsee that, right? So we will know forever and always, now that we've had this conversation, thank you, Bashar, that this is just a curtain and behind it is that little wizard. And when we say to that wizard, that little person who's claiming to be the wizard, right? When we say, are you the wizard? That question, is it true, from the Byron Katie work? Is it true? We've just freed ourselves. And we can follow down that through the corridor of doubt, behind the curtain of paranoia, that leads us straight to freedom, choice, growth, inspiration. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, I'm going to link the thing below. Please explore it. Please share in the comments. What do you think of all this? What does this do in your system when you hear this? And how do you want to interact with this moving forward? Okay, I love you so much.